What's up, everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Welcome to My Blessed Life.
Hi, guys.
And we're excited that you are back, right? And that you are joining us. Listen, if you have not subscribed, we need you to hit that subscribe button. We need you to like this video, right? And we're thankful for all of you who watched our first video where we were showing you guys footage of when we told our family that we were expecting, and your reactions were great and amazing. I know our family loved it, right? Seeing everyone's videos put together like that. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it was good.
And emotional, watching it back and just reliving all those moments.
I cry every time I watch it back.
So today's video is going to be when we found out, right, that we were pregnant. Yeah. So bring us back to that day. Okay. It was October 6th.
Yeah.
2022.
Okay, so on this day, I had a doctor's appointment this day. Yeah. So I went for a doctor's appointment, just a kind of like a checkup because things kind of weren't going the way we wanted it to go. So I went to this doctor's appointment and they didn't do a test or anything there. And prior to that day, it was like 2 days before, I was feeling a little weird and different. And it was funny because actually before I left, I actually took a test. I didn't tell you that. Mm-hmm. I did tell you that after, but I didn't tell you when I took it. So right before leaving, I took a test. And I thought on that test, I had the faintest line. But if you see this test, it's like, it's completely white. You don't see anything. And it's one of the like strip tests, right? Yeah, it's those like cheapy strip tests. It's not like the good ones. That's what they're called. So I took that and it was like the faintest line, I mean, severely white still. But it gave me a little like, is that something? I'm not sure. So anyways, I was like, I'm gonna run late. I'm just gonna go. I jetted out. I was literally almost late to his appointment. So anyways, I go to the appointment and he didn't check me there or anything like that. It was just that routine checkup to like give us further like information and testing So if you wouldn't have gotten pregnant in a certain amount of time, right? Yeah. You would make this appointment to just kind of see what's up, see, what can be done and all of that. So that was this appointment. Yeah. So I left that appointment with some paperwork to do further testing on possible infertility. And right after the appointment, there was a Walgreens like right next door. So I was just like, I'm driving and I don't know, something in me was like, just stop and get one. And I went and those are expensive there. I was like, let me get a really good one because if I can't use another cheapie. Like I need to use a good one. So I ended up going and getting that test. And there's so many options. It was just a little like, I was nervous in there. I was like looking at these tests like I don't even know which one to get. Anyways, I got the test and
so which one did you get?
First response with the 2 pink lines. I didn't do digital or anything like that because you know how it could be. Yeah. So I did first response, and when I got the test, I was so nervous. I was really just getting it to see like if my period didn't come, which was supposed to come in 2 days, then I was gonna take it. So I was just having it there in my drawer. So I come home and when I come back, I just decide like, let me take another cheapie. I looked at the other cheapie first. And I'm like, I think I see. So I'm literally going like this, putting it to the light, looking at it. And I really thought I saw something. Like genuinely, it was there in my eyes. So I was like, and I didn't tell him anything.
I'm at work.
I didn't tell him like Thursday. Anything. And I actually, on my way home, I didn't tell him I got the test or anything, but I called him and I was just like, I told you everything.
Yeah, told me, but the doctor said, right? And you said they didn't give me a pregnancy test. They didn't do that. So we'll just wait.
We'll just wait it out.
You're like, we'll just wait it out. And so in my mind, I was at work kind of like, okay, they didn't do a test, kind of had that anticipation. I'm like, all right, I guess we'll just wait and see, you know? But it's like that moment where, not that you lose hope, like for that cycle, but you kind of like, you lose hope. You're kind of like, all right, whatever. They didn't do a test. It is what it is. It's going to be coming like 2 days anyway. Yeah. We'll move on.
So I decided to take another cheapie. I ended up taking this cheapie and a line came up and it was still extremely faint. I mean, very similar to the first one, barely there, but a little darker than the first one. So then I was like, My heart started pounding. I'm in the bathroom like, oh my God, oh my God. I mean, the test that I was gonna save, the first response, forget about it. I ripped it open. I took out the test and I dipped it in the same urine that I had. And it was a line, a faint, not as faint line. It was a darker line, still very faint, still very faint, but darker than the cheapies. So that lets you know to get a first response. Anyways, sponsor us, first response. I'm just kidding. But yes, to get a good test if you're like almost sure you're pregnant or if you're feeling something.
And if it's so early.
Yeah.
It was very early.
Yeah, it was very early. So I went and did that. And when I saw that line, I mean, it came up fast. My heart was pounding. I was crying. I was like, oh my God. And then I felt kind of like I did it when he like wasn't here. I felt a little guilty. I was like, I don't know how to feel. But then I was like, whatever, he'll be fine. Because he's thinking like nothing's going on. So in a way, it was like kind of good and surprising. So, I mean, he was on his way home from work. And it was like, what, 3:30 around? And
it was like 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm like 10 minutes away. And you're like, oh, okay. You acted normal on the phone.
I was so anxious.
But behind the scenes, I'm sure.
And I was like cooking at the same time, like getting things situated, cleaning the room, cleaning the bed, because I wanted to tell him, but I didn't want to just, as soon as he walked in the door, kind of just blurt it out. So what I did was I had bought him a book. It was like 4 months before. It's like a dad book, a baby book to read for dads to read to their kid. And I was like, I have this book, I have the test, and I also made a blanket for the baby. And that was like a month prior.
That was the same cycle. So it was that cycle. You had made a blanket, and you made the blanket and finished the blanket in a matter of like, those weeks. And it was
funny because I was just making a blanket at first with scraps I had. Like I had a whole bunch of dyed scraps and stuff. And I was like, I have all these scraps and I want to like keep myself busy aside from business stuff. I was like, I just want to like stay busy. So I was like, let me make this blanket. I'm going to put out all the squares and the colors and everything together. And I finished that blanket that week, right? Yeah, that week. And I posted it and everything. It was a cute quilt that I made.
And it was like a gender neutral blanket.
Yeah, that's what I had in mind, gender neutral, like, because then halfway through it, I was like, this is going to be for my baby. Like, whenever my baby comes, this is going to,
it became like the baby blanket. Yeah. Like we knew when you had put it to the side.
Yeah. So then that day, I was like, and I had the blanket. So I rolled up the blanket, put it on the bed with the book and the test, and I left it in there. So he comes in, and when he comes in, I'm like, hi, how was work? I give him a hug.
And she was good. I didn't notice anything. I just was like,
I wiped away the tears. I flushed my face. I put water. I did stuff. I put like makeup on my eyes because I was crying. Like, and the thing is that it was just a matter of like 15 to 20 minutes of me getting myself together, and my heart was like out of my chest because I couldn't believe like what was happening. Like, so
I walked in.
You walk in,
and I, as usual, take off my coat. Was putting stuff away, and I go to the room, and you had stood outside.
Yeah, I was like out here in the kitchen, and I'm like looking back.
I walk into the room and I see it, and I turn on the light because I saw something in the bed. I turn on the light, and I'm like, but I was confused. Because she had just finished telling me,
You're like,
I was like, what is that? I'm like, what does that mean? I think that was right. I was like, what does that mean? And I look, and then I go and I see the test, and I turn around, and you're like smiling and like, crying. And then I'm like, oh my, like confused because I'm like, you just told me that he didn't do a test, whatever. So I'm like, what happened?
Like, he really didn't. That was true. All that was true. I just took it upon myself and just did it. Yeah. And
I mean, then we had our moment and we were crying and it was a lot.
And then he's like this because I'm telling you, it's a faint test.
But you could see the line.
You could see it.
You could see the line. It's just faint.
Then we're like, wait, it's not pink too. It's like gray. It's like not showing color. It was light,
yeah.
And then we ended up buying so many tests.
Yeah, so then after that, it was like every other day.
Yeah, to do like a little progression.
To make sure.
make sure that it was like sticking and that it was getting stronger.
Yeah, so I'm learning stuff as I go along. So apparently the HCG is supposed to like double every day.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to get darker until it like, you know, gets as dark as like the control line.
Yeah, and then it's like a dye stealer. You don't have to do any of that. Right. It was just more of, because they don't tell you these things. Yeah. Your first appointment isn't until like 8-9 weeks. Yeah. Mine was 9 weeks.
So then you called.
So I called. Well, I called like the next day, I think. And then they were like, oh, that's cute. Like, that's cute. Yeah, you have to wait till 9 weeks. Well, they said 8 weeks, but then they didn't have any appointments, so it had to be in 9 weeks. So I'm like, but I should be 3 weeks and change right now. Like, I have to wait another 6 weeks.
That's like, crazy to me. I mean, that waiting game, and everybody talks about it, right? But I don't know. It's like, so I have to wait 6 weeks. We have to wait 6 weeks to find out like that something is actually there in the right spot, growing how it's supposed to. You know.
And if you're extremely anxious, they allow you to take blood work and stuff. But I didn't want to be that type of person. I was like, just take it easy, trust in the process, and trust that God.
So we ended up looking. Yeah. And we found a place that does early scans. Yeah. Right, it was like up the block from us too, which was crazy. And we ended up going, and it was at 6 weeks. So we had to wait like 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. Pretty much, it was like 2 weeks.
Even that was like
torture. And the day, you know, had come, right? And it was crazy because that was the same day that we were going to tell our family. Yeah. So that same day, we had the scan, the early scan, and it's called a comfort scan. And the place was really great. And they basically, you know, they don't diagnose anything. They just look to see, you know, that everything is, you know, there where it's supposed to be. And, you know, it's pretty much it. But it was so early that we kept reading, and even just, you know, hearing like different people talk about it, where they would say if it's too early, you may not see a heartbeat, you may not hear a heartbeat, there may not even be anything there visibly, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing there. It's just too early.
So we were going with the like high hopes of like we will see something, it'll be there.
Because at that point, like you saw in our last video, we had everything pretty much almost ready to tell our family. So
that was exciting and so nervous. I was like nerve-wracking. I was like so nervous that day. I remember, and I'm like, and as soon as we went,
early in the morning, we went,
and it was before church.
Yeah, it was like before church. That was a long day. Very long day, and I was at Six Flags the day before. Got back super late. It was like a whole thing. Too. But we go, and right before we go into the room, one of the nurses or the ladies there basically tells the person who's going to be doing the scan, you know, you're probably not going to see anything. Like, she was kind of like not saying it in front of us, but I heard it. She was like, but if, you know, you have trouble finding it, let me know and I'll talk to them because it is a little early. Yeah. And I heard that and I was kind of like, oh, come on. Like, I hope everything's okay. And sure enough, that went. Was fun.
Yeah. We went in. Yeah. And as soon as she put it on, we saw this like flicker. Already.
At first it was like zooming in. She had to like zoom in. Yeah. And you zoom in and you see this little thing. Yeah. Like,
she went around. She was like, okay, good. Your bladder's full. Like this is that. Okay, your ovaries and this and that. And then she ended up going to where the baby is. Right. And we see the flicker. She's zooming in and I was just like, that's the heartbeat. She was like, that's what I was just going to say. She's like, you beat me to it.
So at 6 weeks, we saw that light flashing nice and strong. And it was great.
How is the heart beating? Oh my God, my baby. Look at this little pebble right there. Crazy.
And it was one of those things where we were hopeful, right, that obviously everything was okay and that there was something there, but seeing that heartbeat just puts you at ease and lets you know, like...
Yeah, for the moment. For the moment. Every other day after that, you're like...
you're like, okay, I hope everything's okay, I hope it's growing and all of that. But then that day, we were able to get our first pictures, right, at 6 weeks, and we
were so excited to show everybody. I look back at those pictures, it's a dot.
I know. You can't even tell. I mean, there's something there, right? And that was great. Yeah. That was super fun. Yeah. And, you know, one of the biggest challenges kind of like in the first trimester was that we kept it a secret. Initially at first to our parents, right? For like 3 weeks. And then we told everybody else. So like, I remember even when we found out that weekend, we had like a church event where we were going to the farm with the kids.
Oh yeah.
So do you remember there was a sign that said "Love grows here"?
Yeah.
And
I was like, Harry, he's looking back. Stand in front of the
picture there.
I'm like, I doubt this is for pregnant women. It's not like people.
But it was just cute. I'm like, love grows here. Yes, in her womb, love is growing.
Like, quick, go take a picture. Like people are gonna see. But I'm like, people aren't gonna know that. That's why I'm taking a picture there. But
the thing is that if it were me and I saw a woman taking a picture under that sign, and I would think, oh, maybe she's expecting.
Yeah, but then
like
I did grab my belly. So
for one of the pictures.
I was like, is anybody looking? And then. Yeah, that was a cute picture. Yeah. And then that day, I remember I was like so tired that day. And I'm like, you forget like.
And it's almost like
that come in.
Right. Like you start experiencing the symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
which
it was.
Yeah.
It was good.
So that day.
It was a good day.
That was a good day. And then what happened after that?
So it was just after we told our parents, it was kind of keeping it a secret and waiting till. The 9-week appointment.
Yeah.
So 9-week appointment comes and we had already told our close family and, our closest friends, and we kind of, told them pray, and, they were excited, happy, and all of that. And we had our 9-week appointment. So I just got here. Evie is on her way. She is meeting me here. We are having our first ultrasound. Well, technically our second. We had one at 5 weeks, but this is like the official one, right? At 9 weeks. And I just came straight from work. I am nervous, excited, emotional. I don't even know how to describe what I feel, but I'm ready. And the whole way here, I'm like talking to God and just, obviously thanking him for this, and also just praying that everything is okay, and that we just leave here with a positive experience, a great experience. So I already know I'm gonna cry. I already know I'm gonna be a mess. I already know it's gonna be a mess, but it's gonna be great. And very excited and grateful, and can't wait for her to get here so we can go inside. This day, it's finally here. We've known about this for the last, 5-6 weeks. Crazy, but we're finally here and ready. So hopefully we come out with some amazing pictures too. No crusty pictures. We want clear pictures of this baby. And we'll keep you posted. And this was a good one because we were like, hopefully we see something that looks a little more, like a baby, whatever. And we go and it was like a little peanut. In my mind, it was like the little Minions, little Minions.
It was.
That's what it looked like.
Like, baby was jumping.
Not this one.
No?
Not this one. In this one, that was 10 week. And 9 week, he was just kind of like moving his arm.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Like slow.
It was like,
it
wasn't like super slow, but it was just like movement.
Little movement.
Like we saw movement.
That's right.
He was moving a lot.
Yeah.
In that, first appointment.
That's cute.
At 9 weeks.
Yes.
So that was fun. Mm-hmm. And that was the day I actually gave you, if you remember, the journal.
Oh, the journal.
Right?
I know. I was bawling.
Oh, babe.
Yeah. Okay. So it was a pregnancy journal, and they had wanted, and that's cool, to document everything. And I really suggest that you do that because one, not that you forget things, but there are little details I think you want to remember.
Because I skipped a couple of weeks, and I was going back to try to remember the details. And I remember the day and what to write, but you don't remember. And then it comes back to you later and I didn't write that in there. Oh my God. And then you have to go back and remember what day it was. And it's good to just document as you go because it's beautiful to look at too. Because I already cried 3 times reading what I wrote. So yeah, it's beautiful.
So that was good. And we cried then, know, and we were...
every appointment we cried.
Yeah, we're always crying. If you look at the pictures that we take...
Especially his.
My eyes are always glossy, glassy eye. It's a mess.
Yeah.
Then after that was the 10-week appointment.
Yes.
So...
This is the one.
This was when you're kind of supposed to go, right?
Yes.
10 weeks. Yeah. And this is the one where baby was jumping.
Yes, this was the jumping one.
Bringing up.
hitting the bottom with his feet and flying up, hitting his head. I'm like, what's going on?
Cute. He
very cute.
Did like this wave to us.
Yeah.
Like it was. It was insane. So cool.
And the pictures don't do it justice.
No. And we even did like a little clip, but
yeah.
even that, like in the moment when you're seeing this and you're seeing the baby, it's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy. It's very emotional, and I mean, every appointment, it was just like we have our masks on, and it's like, you know, tears welling up in your eyes, the mask fogging up the glasses, because I want to see everything. So I have my glasses on, and I'm like looking at the screen, not wanting to cry because then I can't see the screen. You know, like it was good. So that was the 10-week appointment, and then after that, did we have a 12-week?
Well, yes, because I remember that was like a test one. That's why. So then we were kind of going like every 2 weeks. we were like the way, you know, he was like, oh, if you have to come by 12 weeks, it just happened to be that they had an appointment like the day we turned 12 weeks, the day we turn, you know, a new week. So it happened to be very fast, like and close together. So that was a 12-week appointment.
12-week appointment. And same thing, right? Yes. We were...
Oh, I went by myself too because they just kind of talk to you and check and do a couple things. And
you heard the heartbeat then.
And I heard the heartbeat then.
And that was cute.
A good one.
And then it was
I recorded that, like little audios and stuff. Because they can't, if you know, you can't record anything. They don't let you have your phone out, which kind of sucks, but you gotta be a ninja and sneak in some footage because then, I mean,
it's like, that's my baby.
Yeah.
Like, that's our baby on the screen. Why can't we just record, right? But HIPAA laws or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They don't let you do that. Oh, one of the hardest things also was for your doctor, the way they would do it, they would take you in first and I would have to wait.
Yeah.
That was
rough.
Rough because I would be there, like they would, you know, kind of take a while with you in there. So I'd be like, oh my gosh, is everything okay? What's happening?
Yeah.
So it was like the waiting game, me out there like waiting.
Then, since you can't really have your phone out and stuff, like I was like texting him through my watch. And I'm like, you're gonna come in soon. Like writing little things like just so that he knows. Like and he's a lot of these appointments you were coming straight from work. So you were like, you know, it's like an exhausting day and just, you know, and you're meeting me there. But not just that, it would take like a while to go in. Yeah. Like remember that one time it was like an hour and I like had to go to the bathroom so bad and all that stuff. But, yeah. So, so he would have to wait out and then they would call him only when
they were doing the ultrasound.
They were ready for the ultrasound and then he would have to leave right after the ultrasound. Yeah. Kind of weird.
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
But, you know, funny enough, it was one of those things where it was like around Thanksgiving. So we had Thanksgiving and that was great. I remember we took like a first belly picture together, like where I was holding your belly. Yeah. And our neighbor.
There was spies everywhere.
Seeing and then asking my dad like a few days later, is she pregnant? And like, we remembered, we were outside taking a picture.
Mind you, I really had like no stomach. We were just like doing things and kind of.
Right.
You know,
and so that was cute, right? Happy Thanksgiving. Everybody knew at that point our family together, right? But around that time, I remember you had received a letter saying that the doctor was no longer taking your insurance.
Yeah, which was rough to think about because you kind of like develop a relationship, obviously, with your doctor. And like, I actually really loved my doctor. I thought he was great, like my actual doctor. But if you know too, when you go to a doctor's office, they have you see other doctors because they're one person. And if they aren't there to deliver your baby, there'll be somebody else too. Yeah. So they kind of have you develop a relationship with another one. But on paper, he'll be the one delivering your baby, your set doctor. Well, at this doctor's office, they had multiple. They had like 4 or 5. And I didn't like that when I was starting to switch doctors and having to develop a relationship with these new doctors. It was just because they don't know anything about you, so you have to keep explaining it. And one lady doctor that I had gotten was kind of a little pushy with certain things, I would say. And I mean, she was kind of like, oh, we want to put you on baby aspirin, or we want to like, you know, and I'm like, oh, why? Is there a reason? No, it's just a precaution. It doesn't harm the baby or doesn't cross placenta.
They made you take the glucose test at 12 weeks.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Which normally is like much later, right?
Yeah.
So it was just like weird things like that happening.
Yeah.
And then getting the letter saying that they were no longer taking our insurance, it was a little, you know, when you develop the relationship, you go to all these appointments, you're like, we have to switch doctors and go somewhere else completely, right?
Yeah.
And I remember we were just kind of going back and forth, and I was like, you know, at the end of the day, I have to trust that God, you know, works everything out for good, and there's a purpose, there's a reason behind this switch. This isn't just happening. Yeah. And it's hard to like really think about that in the moment, but I had to really, you know, develop that confidence to say like, there's a reason behind this. We just have to trust that, you know, what God is doing, and he knows what's best.
And even with that switch, it's like very difficult to find another doctor's office that's good, that you would like. I mean, you know, you can ask friends to refer you and whatever, but when you really just want to find something yourself, it takes a lot of work. I remember I was sending you so many different people. Yeah,
and then like picking like who do we choose? So it's like all these different people. But we ended up calling, you know, the doctor that you're with now, and we just felt from the first call you had the doctor on speaker, the receptionist,
that
like this was the place.
This is the place. She was so sweet.
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh my goodness, they didn't tell you. Mind you, she was basically letting me know that they've known this for a long time. They just kind of withheld, like even when they got me in October, that they just knew that it was going to get cut off already. So I was just like, that's weird that they would just take me for a couple months and then drop me. But she was like, but don't worry, we promise that we'll have you here forever and all this stuff. So it was great.
And, you know, we've had already several appointments. You know, currently now we're, you know, 21 weeks, right? So, you know, we're in the second trimester. But we've seen kind of the night and day difference and just how God looked out for us in a lot of different things that we'll talk about kind of,
but he's video. Allowed to come in with me now. He doesn't have to, he's allowed to use the bathroom. Right. He's allowed to like.
It's good. But we just see how, you know, sometimes in the whole pregnancy journey, when things don't go the way you want it to, or how you expect, or what's comfortable, or maybe there's a change, an abrupt change, and you're just like, I don't get this. Why? Trust the process. Trust that God is in control, because trust me, we saw how just with certain things God really looked out for us, and even protected right, us from, you know, certain things that potentially could have gone wrong, right? And only God does those things, right? And you have to be able to really trust that he has your best interest and that he knows what's best for you, even if at the moment you feel like what God is doing is not okay, right? Or it's not the best. So that was really cool. So ended up switching the doctors and doing all of that. This was the month of, you know, December.
Yes.
And this was the month that we had decided to let the world know. And we said, we're going to let everybody know December 23rd, just, you know, a day before Christmas Eve.
I was so nervous that day too.
I know. We like recorded the gender reveal, not the gender reveal, the pregnancy reveal. We did that video, and that took a few hours, right? And we did that all ourselves, right? With curtains and lights and, you know, different props or whatever. And that took, you know, a minute, but we were also like excited and happy in the moment as we were doing it.
You know, good, and it did. I love it. It did. It was very cute. Yeah.
And even just what you were wearing, remember you had to like, you were like, what should I wear? What could I get?
Something like this or something.
And then we saw that jacket, and it was like, this is it, right? Because it wasn't revealing if it was a boy, if it was a girl, it was a bunch of different colors, but it was really nice. And then we posted that video, which is on our channel. You can find it on December 23rd. And that feeling of just everybody knowing, finally knowing, is so good. You could breathe, because she was showing
by then, and
but
I was like,
I think you hit it really well.
Yeah, I was wearing big sweaters. I was everywhere I went, because you don't know who you're gonna see.
We had people that were like, yo, we were looking back at the pictures, like, or recent pictures that we took to see, like, I don't remember seeing a belly, or I don't remember seeing that, right? But it's a lot that you kind of like have to like go through or like battle through. It's a lot of emotions and feelings, and at the end of the day you have to remember, right, that this is your journey, right? This is your story, you know, as the mom and dad, right? Like, that's your journey and your story, and how you kind of want to share it and, you know, deliver it to people and tell people in your timing. That's up to you, right? And, you know, a lot of people just have to kind of like be okay with that and learn to respect that as well. But, you know, we had a lot of, you know, loving people around us and people that, you know, were so happy and excited and praying for us. And that day just receiving all the messages and all that. It was really nice.
Yeah,
it was really nice.
That. Yeah, it was really nice.
I think it's just moments like that that reminds you, right? Like of how you're loved and how people appreciate you. And it was good. Yeah. It was really good. So now, first trimester, a lot of people want to know, right? Because they ask all the time, were you sick? Did you get morning sickness?
I didn't. I mean, it's weird to say. Like, I did feel weird. I didn't feel like 100% well, but I wasn't nauseous every morning. Especially they say in the first trimester, you're like ridiculously sick. Majority of women. I wasn't. I thank God for that. As far as
you were a trooper, did you have cravings?
That's another thing. I don't have severe cravings, but I did have cravings for oranges, anything orange, tangerine, mandarin, and watermelon, which seem to be very healthy snacks.
And
but
there was one more.
Because of that.
More. Do you remember? Do you know?
Wait. Anything cold.
Anything cold. Peanut butter and jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly, that's right. Yes, I still eat it. That's why.
And the thing is that, and I feel like this is a thing, but thank God her cravings are healthy. Yeah. Because all of a sudden, I want an orange. All of a sudden, I want watermelon. Yeah. All of a sudden now, I want peanut butter and jelly. Whereas before, it was like, oh, like peanut butter and jelly?
Yeah.
Peanut butter and jelly is so good.
It is. We still have it like till this day. And that was like in the beginning. It's funny because I forgot about the peanut butter and jelly because it's just a thing now. But yeah, I've never, I mean, there are things I think about like, for dinner I want this and stuff like that, but I wouldn't consider it a craving. It's not something I need to have right now or I'll die. It hasn't happened yet. So I'm hoping I'm this good because then if not, you're gonna have to drive into the city to get me something.
Cheesecake or something.
Although cheesecake has always been my favorite, so I have wanted it a couple times.
But it's not like a pregnancy craving. No. You know, when it gets to the craving, then we'll go to Junior's Cheesecake and we'll pick it up. But I think for the first trimester, right, it's been great, right?
Yeah.
It's been great. Yeah, actually. You did like everything that you kind of would normally have done, right? Within just like your business, church, right?
Yes.
I haven't done it.
Yeah, and I honestly I haven't felt like any pain. Like women feel. I do have a slight back pain that is pregnancy related, right? But it's still nothing that I'm like dragging my feet, having to, you know. And at this time, they say if you didn't get sick, I know some women say I did, but I wasn't sick in the first trimester, but I'm sick now. It can happen, but thank God, I've been a trooper. I've been good.
You've been great, and it's been fun. It's been joyful. It's been amazing. We're so happy and excited.
Yeah, and we're at that new stage now where I'm feeling the baby move, and
so you have to stay tuned for that second trimester video.
It's fun. Every day I'm like, I'm like, get that back. But I love it. It's so fun.
Yeah. And, you know, just to kind of wrap it up, right? I think earlier you were talking about how, you know, you had the appointment, your initial appointment and everything like that. For all of those who are on that pregnancy journey and trying to conceive, it's a journey, right? Yeah. For some people, a journey is very quick. A journey is easy. For others, a journey is, you know, highs and lows. Yeah. And for other people, a journey is hard and it's long and it's a process. And, you know, when we were, you know, trying, right, and in that process, we'd always watch pregnancy vlogs and videos, and like, you'd hear other people's stories, and you would hear kind of like their experiences, and, you know, you'd be happy for them and you'd be looking forward to it, but at the same time, then it's like, one day, like, you know, you're not there, you're not in that season.
It's because it's something that you think, because you're trying, that it's going to happen like that.
Right.
And that's not necessarily the
way
it's
going to happen.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's one of those things where if you are in the process of waiting, and if you are in that waiting game and it's been a journey for you, trust and believe that God's timing is best. Trust and believe that God's timing is perfect. And when that miracle happens and when that blessing comes, it would be so worth it.
Yes.
It would have been so worth everything you went through, all the tears, all the prayers, all the worries and anxiety. It would be so worth it in the end. So if that's you and you're asking God to bless you with a baby and, with a family, just hold on and, trust that the journey is worth it. And in the end, when it happens, you will realize that God's timing is truly the best timing. And you'll be able to just enjoy that blessing, enjoy the gift, enjoy what he's given you. And I mean, for us, that same day you left with, paperwork for blood work, for possible infertility, and to start, kind of finding out what is going on, is the same day you found out that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where you can't make that up, right? And we can truly say that, God's timing is the best timing.
It is, for sure. 100%.
So thank you for watching this video. Thank you for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment down below. We have videos that are coming up within the next few weeks. Our gender reveal, right? That happened.
Yes.
We're going to show you all behind the scenes of that. We're going to show you as you prepared for our registry.
That's a good one too.
Right? And we have a bunch of stuff coming. So make sure you are subscribed, that you are tuned in for My Blessed Life.